Welcome to Board Game Empire. We're going to be showing you an overview and review of Arcana Rising. So this game, you're trying to earn the most victory points by either preparing or casting spells during your turn in hopes of having the most points at the end of the game. So you start out with your player board, which has 5 disciplines on there. You also get one of each of the resources. So this represents, like on this one, it's herbs. That represents 1 herb. This is blood. That represents 1 blood, and so forth. Potion, gold, and I'm not sure what this one is called. I can't remember what that one's called. Or charms, I guess. So you're basically, on your turn, you're going to be choosing whether you want to cast, which means you pull the however many cards are left in your hand. So if you have 6 cards, which is the beginning of that round, and it's played over 3 rounds, you would cast this one. If you only had 3 cards left in your hand, you would cast these 2. So you're going to be casting at least 2 disciplines each turn, with exception if you cast when you're down to 1 card. You get to cast all 5 disciplines. However, you only get to cast the lowest card in each column. So we pretty much cast it every time on the 1 card because you get a bunch of resources for that. But during the other 5 rounds or turns of that round, you're going to be preparing by paying resources to place cards in each column. And then occasionally you're going to be casting by discarding a card from your hand, choosing whichever turn it is. So if you had 4 cards in your hand, you would pull these out. You would cast both the herbology and the alchemy, everything in that column. You would gain whatever rewards and put this in the bag for the next round. And you just continue going. You start out with 6 cards, and as you can see, there's cards 1, 2, and 3 for the round 1, round 2, round 3. So you'll be dealing out 6 cards for the first round. We take turns playing a card, passing your hand to the other player. We played 2 players, but if you are playing more than 2 players, you draft to the left 1 time, to the right the next time. But in a 2-player game, you're just passing back and forth. And then you either prepare or cast, and you just keep going. And then on the next round, you would shuffle the round 2 cards, deal 6 to each player, and continue. So your resources are here. As you gain resources, you're just going to place them here on whatever discipline they belong to. To prepare cards, you could see in the upper left corner, it's got the discipline, and this is the cost. There's a discounted cost and a more expensive cost. The more expensive cost allows you to use a certain amount of any resources. So for this one, you would have to use 4 resources of any type. So you would just pull them off of whatever discipline. However, for only 2 of the herbs, you could also prepare this card and place it under the appropriate column, whatever the column that matches the symbol in the upper left corner of the card. Your victory points are what you're going for. At the end of the game, the charms, for every 3 charms you have, you would get 1 victory point. For every 3 herbs you have, you get 1 victory point. The blood counts against you. So for every blood resource you have, it's minus 1 victory point. And then for the potions, it's 3 of those. For every 3 of those left, you get 1 victory point. The gold is valuable. For every 1 gold, it's 1 victory point. So you kind of want to stockpile on those. And most of the gold cards, the potions under the alchemy, allow you to trade resources for gold 1-to-1. So those are very helpful in stockpiling on your gold, because basically they're the same as victory points at the end of the game. And then some cards, I think I didn't play any, but I think they are some either of the, what kind of cards? What are these called? Not trinkets. What do they call them? Artifacts. There's artifact cards you would play over here. Most of the ones I had were one-time use, but I believe some of them have in-game things that you get Is that an artifact?
Mm-hmm.
So there are several artifacts in each of the decks. And as the rounds progress, the cards get more expensive to play. So it's 3 rounds, 6 turns of each round, and it goes pretty fast. I think each game lasted we played it a couple times, and I think each game was maybe 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So what did you think of this game?
I really like the component quality, although I do want to say that the board here, I wish it's laid more flat. I wish that they pretty much produced one that was not where you bend in half, where it's just flat, because there is really no need for it to bend, because that's the only thing that's in the back. I think it would have been better just to produce just straight one.
It constantly moves, and it's hard to get the tokens out of it.
Yeah, I think that bend part makes it where it doesn't lay flat.
Or if they had a backing on it instead of making it hollow.
Or they could,
might make
you realize they could provide some plastic thing which would put it right here and would make it more flat, because it would produced it where it went down. But anyways, I really like the components. Besides that, these are kind of plastic, so they kind of remind me of, was it Splendor?
Yeah, the copper chips.
Yeah, so the pretty much graphics is really nice and easy to read, the font. So component quality really good. As far as the mechanics, I really like the mechanics. It's very simplistic, but a lot of strategy. There's so many things you can do in the game, and so you do kind of have to strategize to maximize your points. But really good mechanics. I really like how you pretty much you're picking one card, you give it to the next player, picking one card, pick it. So pretty much you're not set in the hand that you get. You get to pretty much get many different cards that will benefit you, as opposed to just having your set hand and be very limited. So it works out very well in that way. So great mechanics, replayability, high replayability. There's a lot of cards. There's a lot of strategy also to pretty much that you can do with it. So overall total, I'm giving this like an 8.5 out of 10. I really like this game. I think that there's some fine tuning that they could have done with the board. Also, kind of hope that there's an expansion at a later time that pretty much introduces some more, like elements to it, where even if they come out with another board for each character that expands on it, that'd be cool. But really good core game. I think that a lot of people are going to enjoy this. It has a lot of strategy. It's very short time to set up and does not take long to play. So really good game.
So I also really enjoyed this game. I will warn you, you do need to balance your resources, especially your blood. We both made a mistake. There was one card, it's actually this one, where you keep placing tokens on it. And however many tokens you have on it is how much blood you get, which sounds great. And it is great until the last few rounds or last few turns, because it's very hard unless you get the card under alchemy, which I was hoping to get, where it allows you to trade in like 5 resources for...
Oh, that's nice.
There's one that allows you to trade in, I think, like 5 resources for 3 or something like that.
Spend 3 blood, gain 2 gold.
Yeah, I was hoping to get that card because it would balance and offset the fact that I was getting a ton of blood when I had to cast that one. So I got stuck. So we both did. We each won a game, and the one that lost was the one that made the mistake of playing that card. But it's good if you have the alchemy card to balance it out. You would dominate.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of balancing in this game in that sense, because you do not want to get stuck with any blood if possible, but very few, because every blood you have is one less victory point at the end of the game. But I like you said, I do like it that you're able to continuously trade hands, because that balances the game out as well, because that is one thing when you have where you're playing with hands, one player could get an amazing hand and the other one not so much, and that just totally changes the game. Whereas that makes it even more difficult to choose which card you're going to play, because you know you're going to have to give them those cards, and if there's a couple of good ones in there, it kills you to give that away. Because there was a few times where I didn't want to pass him that hand.
Yeah.
I knew which card he was going to play, and I wanted to play it. I just didn't have the resources at the time to play it. Like there was one that allows you to draft or cast. Is it all of them twice or one of them?
Yeah, twice. That's the one that helped me big time.
That one is like an OP card. It's one of the artifacts. But very fun game. Again, we played it twice, basically back to back, and we really enjoyed this game. I would give this a 9. It's one that we will keep in our collection. And like I'm with him, I do hope they come out with an expansion that adds even more to it. And I do... That my only qualm with this game is the casting board. It did get very frustrating at one point.
What they should have done too is just do a double layer, and then these would just lay on flat.
Yeah,
on
that's
top.
what I was saying.
Yeah,
it shouldn't be hollow.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so bad, because they sink down in on the table, and then when you're trying to get them out, it moves. And that was the frustrating part of the game. But I tried to think of other ways. We probably should have just done this maybe, but then if they move, I don't know, but still, it's a great game even with that.
Well, it is our first edition, so
yeah. So did you have anything else to say? So hopefully this video helped you to decide whether this is a game you'd want to add to your collection. We will put the link in the description so you can check it out for yourself. Great game, highly recommended. We're keeping this in our collection. Please give this video a like. Feel free to leave a comment. If not already, we hope you subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next time.